While Mr. Beast built wells in Africa, Kenyan government was shamed by his actions and said it helped perpetuate the stereotype of handout dependability. I'm a bulk cop. On the scene of a shooting one night, using a flashlight to look for bullet casings between houses to collect as incidents. Dispatch gets a call of a suspicious looking bulk male in police clothes using a flashlight to look into people's houses, living while bulk. True story. Harvard Business School rejected me in '91. When I got the news, I checked to see if they'd cashed my $100 application fee check. They hadn't, so I did a stop payment. When they called, trying to collect, I suggested they could learn a business lesson from this. Marriage isn't a piece of cake. Woman asks for divorce just one day after wedding over cake prank. She voted against the infrastructure bill. An Amtrak passenger train just derailed in California. 2 weeks ago, a highway collapsed in Philadelphia. Stuff like this is going on constantly in America. We are sending our money all over the world, but our own country is falling down around us. Elon Musk banned safety clothes because he hates bright colors, as workplace accidents leading to amputations mount at his SpaceX facility. My wife left because she was programmed by radical feminism to believe that she could just break her marriage vows and file for divorce under the concept of irreconcilable differences. Our differences were irreconcilable because she was unsubmissive, physically and verbally abrasive, and when I finally physically handled her for her disrespect and insubordinate behavior, she turned on me and used her parents and the justice system to prevent my rights as a man and her husband, to discipline her for her behavior. Step off, you little butch. That's probably the weakest argument I've heard defending a healthcare system that kills 50k people a year. 50k people a year. Show me well-researched statistics. That's 45,000 lol. I have a date with a guy this weekend, and he asked me what my budget was so he could pick a nice restaurant for us. Budget? Am I paying for my meal? Food's awful and eating snacks. I eat the bare minimum and as fast as possible. I hate eating. I hate feeling full. Men who think cooking makes them manly are clocks afraid of the cage, desperate to validate a non-existent masculinity. Imagine how stupid you have to be to find food entertaining. Literally embarrassing. Dozens of parking lots have opened across the US for working people who earn too little to afford rent, but too much to receive government assistance, and have turned their cars into a form of affordable housing. My frustration with young people is that they think success is supposed to happen like that. Oprah. She's full of shit. Young people don't expect for things to happen like that. They expect to at least be able to find a job after graduating and being 80k in debt, not having to move back in with their parents, not having insurance, not having any foreseeable chance of retiring. To clear up any confusion for the morally bankrupt, who would Hotler be rooting for right now? Thanks for playing. Kids' school struggles are real in woke world. Me during my French exam wondering what is the gender of a washing machine. I went out and surveyed my town for worker shortages. Jobs paying $30 an hour or more. No shortage. $25 to $30 an hour. No shortage. $20 to $25 an hour. No shortage. $15 to $20 an hour. A couple help wanted signs. Jobs paying less than $15 an hour. Shortage. If only there was a solution. I'm on board a Delta flight right now. The person sitting next to me in first class refused $100,000 to remove her mask for the entire flight. No joke. This was after I explained they don't work. She works for a pharma company. We are truly living in the wildest timeline. There's something to be said about getting a 41-game suspension for gambling while being forced to wear a gambling ad on your own helmet every night. Today I turned myself into federal prison for the 19-month sentence I received for peacefully protesting inside the People's House on January 6, 2021. I was 21 years old at the time, and I have been fighting these charges for the last 3 years. It is my great honor to be held hostage as a political prisoner in these United States of America. Goodbye, for now. What I always hear, we can't afford to pay our workers $15 an hour. What I never hear, we can't afford to pay our CEO millions of dollars a year. We don't claim you as a real Jew. My last name is Bernstein. My great-grandparents emigrated from Poland to Brooklyn. I don't need to be claimed by a stranger on Instagram. Poland is like 90% Catholics, but I understand your point. I'll never get over how people who can't afford to pay for their food will applaud a Jude in a gold carriage. A 4th grade teacher accidentally showed his students Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. He didn't stop the movie, even though there were kids saying, "Hey, stop the movie, we don't want this," said one parent. This guy found a tattoo on his newly adopted dog and decided to get the same tattoo, only to discover afterwards that it means being neutered. Unless we put limits on corporations buying single-family houses, 90% of us are going to end up as lifelong renters, and the US will be one giant network of Pottersvilles. I slapped my wife, and she had the guts to arrest me with police because of one correctional slap. I was so surprised when the police stormed my office to arrest me. We had lost wife materials. It's funny how this woke generation can't endure like our mothers. She had me arrested and had the nerves to remain in my house. It's the audacity for me. My father slapped my mom and she never had him arrested. Instead she apologized like the good wife she is, then cooked him to wash his clothes. But now it's pathetic that we can't correct them. It's fun that some folks think a secret group of rich people control everything instead of the widely known group of rich people that control everything. My 3rd grader came home with this today from school, excited to show me how he'd written his name in Chinese. I had to gently explain to him that this is, extremely not correct. So Mike Johnson adopted his 14-year-old bulk son when he was 25 and unmarried. Matt Gaetz adopted a 14-year-old Cuban immigrant named Nestor when he was 30 and unmarried. Both are powerful Republicans now in the House. Can anyone help me understand what is going on here? My tenant continually submits rent payment on the 5th of the month. The lease does offer a 5-day grace period. What is the best way to handle this situation? Let me get this straight. The tenant pays. The tenant pays the full amount. The tenant pays the full amount within the period allowed by the lease. All correct? Yes? Then what should you do? Cash the check. Say thank you for being an outstanding tenant and stop complaining. You won't find moms who regret having their babies. You will absolutely find moms who regret adopting them. This is how women should dress at the gym. See ladies, it's not hard. You can do it too. Believe in yourself and stop being a hole. I'm divorcing my wife over her OnlyFans account. I can't stand the shame. Her husband has said he is leaving his wife after she started an OnlyFans account, stating he is uncomfortable with her decision and says their 11-year-old daughter is being bullied. This what happened to me. He left me cause I had to make a vid with his friend. Like come on B, it's just my job. Someone asked my professor the difference between effect and effect, and he said, honestly I have no clue. I have a PhD and wrote my entire dissertation without using either word. Just try and avoid it at all costs. As a man who's seen his fair share of neat women, I'd like to state that no breast reduction surgery has ever looked good. That weird scar that runs down the middle is super visible and obvious from most intimacy positions. Women, do not do this to yourselves. Where was God when I was being abased? Allowing it to happen so it can humble you and be able to use you. Humble yourself unto the Lord. Trust me, if he wasn't there, you wouldn't have made it. My son, a US Marine stationed at Camp Pendleton, just called me. Dad, I will be leaving the military if they try and force the vax on me. It's starting. So who's going to tell him the military forced the flu vax on him every year? An Ohio social worker who was accused of sexually abusing a 13-year-old boy in her care showed up with a gun at the child's home, where she blamed the family for ruining her life and allegedly threatened to kill the teen's mom and herself. I feel for her. In this messed up world, if that boy came onto her, it's still her fault. Michael Ivan calls out his son on national television for capping in his lyrics knowing he grew up in a gated community. Snow skiing increases the risk of impotence. With the benefit of hindsight, accepting this modeling job was definitely a mistake. I know you guys are not ready to hear this, but here is the sad truth. Being anti-abortion is a losing issue. I say this as a staunch pro-lifer. America is addicted to abortion. Selection after selection has proven this. The public loves child sacrifice. Don't shoot the messenger. In 1999, this house was $105,000. Today, it's $490,000. In 1999, teacher salary was $65,000. Today, teacher salary is $69,000. Future generations might find it hard to believe that this photo was taken at the White House in the midst of a pandemic that had by that stage killed more than 200,000 Americans. The purpose of a job is to pay a living wage. No. That's not how it works. No one owes you anything, let alone a living wage. The purpose of a job is to add value to your employer, who will then pay you for the value you add. There are two parts to higher pay. 1. Develop skills that an employer values. 2. Start your own business and become an employer. Billie Eilish says men don't face criticism about their bodies because girls are nice. Nobody ever says a thing about men's bodies. If you're muscular, cool. If you're not, cool. If you're healthy, cool. If you have a dad bod, cool. If you're pudgy, love it. Everybody's happy with it. You know why? Because girls are nice. They don't give a duck because we see people for who they are. Quick, the Americans are asleep. Post pictures of stuff that isn't expensive. Only because Americans pay for the healthcare of Europe. Lol, what? You learn something new every day. Just realize that these little bumps on the steering wheel are in braille, so that blind drivers have no trouble finding the horn to alert other drivers when necessary. Wait, what? Blind drivers? Trump was just asked his involvement in the 2021 financial statement. He tried to answer saying that he was busy with the presidency, focused on China, Russia and keeping our country safe. Wallace, the state lawyer, reminded him that he was not president in 2021. 1. A man has been crushed to death by a robot in South Korea after it failed to differentiate him from the boxes of food it was handling. According to Yonhap, the robotic arm appeared to have malfunctioned and identified the man as a box as it lifted boxes of bell peppers. 2. The robot then pushed the man's upper body down against the conveyor belt, crushing his face and chest, the South Korean news agency reported. Wait, so Kylie Jenner's makeup artist got into a car accident and needed $60,000 for emergency brain surgery and she asked her fans to donate, and then only donated $5,000 when she's a literal billionaire? The wrong people have money. Yesterday I went undercover at Kent State to ask students what they think about the Kent State gun girl. Surprisingly, no one recognized me until I took the glasses off. You're not undercover if no one knows who you are in the first place. Doctor wouldn't tie my tubes cause I wasn't married, and maybe someday my husband might want kids. Medically, my body belongs to a man I haven't met. Obesity extinct in 90 days if I'm president. 85% tax on fatties and they can only buy healthy food or gym membership. Guys, he didn't ghost. He was just dead. I feel so much better right now, like rip, but I thought it was an issue. I'll let social media influence me too much. Last year I cheated on my ex cause I thought he was a bum cause he wasn't funding me to have a luxury lifestyle like I see others have on TikTok. The whole time he was saving money to adopt his nephews. I want him back, but he hates me now. Finding out a man has 200 plus hours on a video game elicits the same reaction in women that finding out a girl has 200 bodies does for men. Americans harnessed electricity, split the atom, and gave the world the telephone and the internet. We settled the Wild West, won 2 world wars, landed American astronauts on the moon. And one day soon, we will plant our flag on Mars. The internet is English, the phone is Scottish, electricity was harnessed by an Englishman, the atom was first split at the University of Manchester. You use me scientists to put you on the moon and you didn't win 2 world wars alone. Genocide in the Wild West, I'll give you. New X will begin charging new users $1 a year to access key features, including the ability to like, bookmark, create list, post, and repost, according to Forbes. Musk floated the idea by saying, "It's the only way I can think of to combat vast armies of bots. It's the only way." I'm checking temperatures today at work and this lady walks in. I check her temp. She says loudly, "You said my temperature 100. And what? Let me go home y'all." She really left. It was only 96. The bulk plague disappeared without a vaccine. Just saying. It killed 1/3 of Europe. If you ever feel useless, just remember that the Pentagon wasted trillions of dollars and the lives of 2,456 American soldiers over a 20-year period, only to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. It's a real shame our Aussie friends were forced to give up their arms. It's a real shame that kids in Australia don't even know what active shooter even means. Thanks for your concern, America, but we don't want to be you. Adult children are costing many parents their retirement savings. Young adults are being forced to rely on help from parents to survive due to overwhelming student loan debt and cripplingly low wages. There, fixed your headline. I'm assuming this meme changed the tire. After seeing half a country actively reject wearing a mask during a pandemic, I would like to apologize to the filmmakers of every horror movie ever made for calling their characters unbelievably dumb for going into the mere basement. Women in the West have been taught that an accidental pregnancy is the worst thing that could possibly happen to them. Thus, they strongly oppose abortion bans as being an existential treat. Many men also fear that they will be unable to have fun if abortion is outlawed. Did you know that literally no animals wash their hands and they are fine? They eat at the ground where other animals peep. How dumb are we to think that we needed soap and hand sanitizer to survive as a species? Most men who think about the Roman Empire do not think about their place within the empire. I would be a war general, likely to die as ruler. I know you like to think the same, but your life proves you'd be a peasant or slave. All of you are lazy, weak, and stupid. Kids getting thrown off right and left. Total carnage. Wails of anguish. Not one adult gave a single shit about it. In 2020, Shane Goldsby, right, got his sister's rapist, left, as a cellmate. Despite repeatedly requesting a transfer, nothing happened. After the man taunted him for days with specific details about his sister's rape, Goldsby snapped and stomped him to death. Jeff Bezos recently bought a $68 million mansion in Miami's billionaire bunker. Meanwhile, Amazon is spending millions to prevent workers from joining the union. This is what oligarchy looks like. Imagine thinking fertilized eggs were a thing in humans, a viviparous species. I think you have proven brain dealt is a thing, and you prove it more every time you type anything. Condos are free at campus but printing isn't. So Slex is more important than our assignments? Condos are free because Slex can cause serious health issues if it is carelessly done, and can kill you as well. Lack of education won't kill you. It'll just make you compare Slex to printing. Vivek Ramaswamy proposes building a wall along the border with Canada. So we gotta just skate to where the puck is going, not just where the puck is. Don't just build the wall, build both walls. Florida abortion bill would require judge to rule if teens mature enough to terminate pregnancy. That woman is immature. Let's give her a kid. Florida. Why do our children live in constant fear of dehydration? I spent my entire childhood without carrying an ounce of water on my person, but my kids are treated like beach stalkers. The ultra wealthy aren't paying their pay share of taxes. The GOP solution? Make the poor pay more in taxes. GOP's tax plan would raise taxes by over $1,000 annually for poorest Americans. When future generations ask us what we did to stop the climate crisis, how will we answer? Ahem. Before you ask me on a date, just know I'll only agree to lunch or dinner depending on my schedule, and you will have to provide the following first. $50 for gas. I refuse to ride with you in case I wanna leave. $75 to $100 for a babysitter, or you could pay for 2 more meals. $100 for a Sheen haul. I need to be able to try on a few options for our date. $100 for my toes. No need to worry about my nails, since I don't get them done anyways. Yes, you will be paying for the whole date. No, I won't be sleeping with you. And the second date will depend on how well you tip our server. If this is too much, then I'm not for you. I live my life like this already, and if you can't, then please leave me alone. Ladies, am I missing anything else? Only the US forces you to give birth, while forcing you to pay tens of thousands of dollars to give birth, while not letting you have time off to give birth. Anti-vaxxers on here defending themselves like, if my child dies, that's my opinion. This is the Utah guy that threatened to kill President Biden, Gavin Newsom, DA Bragg and others. His neighbors describe him as the teddy bear of their church.